Hello friends, I'm Dr. Kostub, and in this topic of current affairs, we'll be discussing a short topic, Academic Lomonosov, which is related to GS paper 3, that is science and technology. The topic is regarding the nuclear technology issue that is covered in your syllabus. Let us see what this Academic Lomonosov is. As you are aware, this is the first floating nuclear reactor by Russian nuclear agency ROSATOM. It is named after 18th century Russian scientist Mikhail Lomonosov. Now, Lomonosov, this term was also in news in the past regarding the ridge that is present uh, on the continental shelf in the Arctic. So, Russia has claimed that Lomonosov Ridge, which is nearly 1,000 kilometers, 1,500 kilometers away from the Russian coast. So, Russia is claiming more and more of continental shelf because that will help it claim all the resources that are present in the Arctic. You are aware that Arctic is supposed to have or be in very rich in fossil fuel or hydrocarbon resources after say Persian Gulf. In the last session also we had discussed when we discussed about gas hydrates. So Arctic Circle or the Arctic region has a lot of resources, and Lomonosov Ridge is a structure present on that sea floor that Russia is claiming. So here also this first floating nuclear reactor is named after the Russian scientist Mikhail Lomonosov. This reactor is docked at port of Pevek. It is in autonomous Chukotka region in Russian far northeast in Arctic Circle region. So it is very close to the uh, Alaska, right? So here the plant will supply electricity to Chukotka region. Important Russian national assets like oil, gold, and coal reserves are located. So it's a mineral-rich area. This Chukotka region is a mineral-rich area which is present very close to Alaska of United States of America. Now, what is the significance? It is said to become the northernmost uh, world's northernmost nuclear installation. Now, when we say world's northernmost nuclear installation, by itself it is very problematic. The reason being, in Arctic, use of nuclear technology can be hazardous because Arctic is not like any other area. Nuclear technology or nuclear disaster can be problematic anywhere in the world. We have seen in Fukushima Daiichi in Japan, before that the Chernobyl, right? 3 Mile Island in United States of America. So all these accidents have been catastrophic or disastrous for the people and the life around it. However, in Arctic, things become very different. The temperature is very low, so any pollution or contamination that occurs doesn't easily clear away. Second, the presence of ice is also very problematic, and this is a very fragile area. So the biodiversity there is also very delicately balanced. So all this make this a very critical uh, step taken by Russia, a working prototype for a reliable source of low carbon energy supply in remote areas. Now, this is the positive side, that it can be a working prototype to provide reliable. Now, this word reliable is very important because this is the only word that explains or justifies the use of nuclear energy. Otherwise, when we speak about renewable energies, right, they are not as reliable as nuclear, right? It's a continuous calculated source of energy, of low carbon energy supply in remote areas. Now, this Academic Lomonosov, it is expected to provide energy for around 1 lakh people and power oil platforms, as Russia plans to develop the extraction of natural resources in mineral-rich Chukotka area. So here it's a mineral-rich area. Energy requirement for the development of this or extraction of this area, resources in this area, is dependent on this platform, which is going to provide the energy. Now, about the reactor in short, it will become made an operational nuclear power plant based on small modular reactors technology. This SMR technology is being used here, where very small modular reactors are used to produce electricity. On board are, this is the technical term, KLT40C. There are two reactors like this. So this Academic Lomonosov has two reactors, each with a capacity of only 35 megawatts. Life cycle is as like other reactors, 40 to 50 years. Now, this could be particularly beneficial to island nations and can be used to power desalination plants for nations with shortage of fresh water. So, this is also a benefit if this technology is developed properly by Russia, and Russia's state agency, Rosatom, plans to export this technology in future. So, countries which are coastally located and have a problem, this shortage of fresh water, can also use this reactors. Russia, the United States, and several other countries, especially even France, they have been using these reactors to power sea vessels, including icebreakers and submarines. Now, apart from this, these countries are also trying to develop such platforms like Academic Lomonosov. Now, what are the advantages of having a floating nuclear power plant? It will provide, it will power the extraction of natural resources in Arctic region. It has strategic significance of Russia. It opens up and makes the northern sea route usable and developed for Russia. See, when the Arctic sea ice melts, Russia will benefit hugely because not only the resources but the opening of the northern sea route. So here, platforms like this will be handy for Russia because they'll be used to power the extraction of resources, icebreakers, submarines, and so on. The portable nuclear plants will help to reduce emissions of carbon dioxide, thus help in mitigating climate change. Now, this is just one side of the issue, right? China and US are also working on sea-based nuclear power plants. France has explored the possibility. And then it is suited for powering remote areas and island states that require stable green source of energy. So all said and done, what are the concerns associated? Let us look at those. See, when a nuclear power plant develops, you can never predict, right? There can be an accident, right? Despite all the due care taken. So any problem with the reactor in the remote region would be difficult to properly contain before it turns catastrophic. So by the time you reach there and get everything on back on track, things can really be very, very bad. The prospect of lucrative trade routes, so this is the commercial aspect of it, as well as the region's military importance, has led to proliferation and use of high-tech nuclear technology. So, in the Arctic region, high-tech nuclear technology is being used in icebreakers, submarines, and now this floating nuclear power stations. So, this is making Arctic, it's like a ticking time bomb, right? Critics have pointed to past incidents. Now, there have been some accidents like sinking of the Kursk submarine in 2000, leaking of radiation by Russian icebreaker off the coast of Siberia in 2011. So these were past accidents. So this is very, very probable that things may go wrong. Right? The environmental group Greenpeace has called the plant Chernobyl on ice, or it is also called nuclear Titanic. Right? So Chernobyl on ice or nuclear Titanic, because here Greenpeace is sounding that alarm. Now, what does Russia say? Rosatom, Russian state agency. It has said that the risk will be minimized. Spent fuel will be taken to special storage facilities in mainland Russia. So they are saying that the spent fuel, the nuclear waste, will not be kept there and it will be transported to mainland. But this generation of this nuclear waste and its transportation itself leads to or raises the hazard level. Rosatom also claims that the platform is virtually unsinkable. Now, when you say virtually unsinkable, it reminds me of something. I hope you also recall. There's a dialogue in Titanic also, right? It's unsinkable. But then we know that Titanic ultimately went down. So here, Rosatom claims that platform is virtually unsinkable. It's able to withstand collisions with icebergs and impact of 7-meter wave. All said and done, you can never be very, very sure about the ability of humans to contain the wrath of nature in such a fragile atmosphere. Already we are dealing with this coronavirus and we know that not always we can be in control. So what can be the way forward? These Arctic region, it's like a global commons. It needs to be protected. It is the responsibility of the entire world to ensure that the development of Arctic is more sustainable, so sustainable development, and in a manner that does not have a negative impact or externality on the ecology. So EIA must be properly done by a neutral agency, environmental impact assessment, and lastly, we need to avoid the NIMBY syndrome. See, the advantage of having a floating nuclear power station is like the risks on land and the damage that can occur in case of an accident is minimized. But this is nothing but NIMBY syndrome, not in my backyard. So you protect the human settlements and land-based systems by just putting the risk on water. But ultimately, as in the case of coronavirus, we have seen that karma does hit you back. So we need to be very, very careful about the Arctic region, which is like the system that cools the earth. With this, I take your leave and I'll be back again with the next topic. Stay healthy and stay happy. Thank you.